Women of Reddit, what things do men do that frighten you without them even realizing it?
When they emphasize that I don't need to be frightened of them completely unprompted. No easier way of getting me to be on my guard.
Approaching while in a car and blocking our path with said car. Happened while I was on a walk, so he could have parked, approached on foot, and maintained a respectable distance.
Demanding justification for every no, and when it's given, arguing about how my reasons aren't valid.
This dude used to come into the restaurant I was waitressing at and would wear this come and go shirt and would offer to buy a bunch of underage girls shots. He didn't realize he was creepy. You could tell by the way he paraded his friends around with his boombox and play loud-ass music on the patio of the restaurant. Apparently he was a rich prick who donated money to the restaurant all the time. After I left, I heard a story that he fixated on one of the waitresses that was nice to him, and he would follow her around and to her car. He even bought her a shit ton of expensive presents for Christmas, which she refused.
It's not frightening, per se, but it definitely makes me wary because it could lead to situations that are frightening. When talking to a guy, he's super pushy. Like, asking for pics of this and that, and even saying no, they're stilly pushy. All that makes me do is not want to meet him. If he's this pushy via text/messaging, how pushy is he going to be in person? If he can't take no now, what are the odds he can take no in person? And #X200B, I once had a guy demand that I rank my sexual partners. I told him no. I told him I can't and I won't. Dude flew off the digital handle. I blocked him right then.
Guy who I sometimes see at work, has at least 20 years on me, fucking pulled my ponytail to say hi one time. So shocked that I just smiled awkwardly and didn't say anything. Like, what world are you living in that you think that's okay? Edit, this got kinda big. Some more details. I was able to talk to him later that day about how that wasn't acceptable and to not do anything like it in the future. He actually took it pretty well and has been fine to work with since. In this case, since there was no escalation, and I know my boss and other co-workers have my back, I didn't feel the need to do anything further. While some people have good intentions and don't know their behavior is out of line, those actions still cause hurt. Personally, as long as the person is able to acknowledge that hurt and do better moving forward, I'm good with them. Malicious predators are a different story. It can be hard to tell the difference in some situations. Y'all be careful out there.
Asking personal questions that have nothing to do with why you are communicating in the first place. Example, getting my muffler welded and being asked by the welder, "Where do you live? How long have you lived there? Do you have roommates or is it just you?" And about 30 more personal and invasive questions. So fucking uncomfortable.
Telling me things they would do to me if I didn't have a husband. Being out somewhere and them not letting me leave, not taking no for an answer, telling me that they drive by my home to see if I'm there.
When men try to show off their dominance over you or anyone really. Like when you mention something to a guy about another guy and he goes, "I'll tell anyone who talks to you." It's quite frightening, really.
Standing too close. How do you know if it's too close? I'll back up half a step, don't match it. Edit, wow, this blew up. Thank you for the awards, I've never gotten one before.
Pick me up. I'm short and have a slight build. It's not that I'm scared of them trying to prove how strong they are, I'm just terrified of being dropped.
Hovering. Don't hover behind me. That's one of the very few things that makes me nervous.
Pretending we're deeper friends than we are, being overly familiar and then acting like they have a right to you. Had a guy do this in college. When I told him he didn't get to dictate who I talked to, he spit his drink in my face. I barely knew him.
A guy I'm seeing took me out to a baseball game for our first date. It was nice, I didn't get any weird vibes from him at all. After the game, he asked if I wanted to go see some of the spots he likes to go walking. I didn't think much about it until we got there and I realized he was basically taking me to the woods in the dark. He told me to follow him and I'm thinking I'm about to get killed, but it turns out he just wanted to show me his favorite place to go on walks and chill because you can see the entire city from there and at night it looks really pretty. He took me to a couple more trails that night and I ended up having a great time and forgot that it's pitch black outside and I'm with a guy I've never gone out with before out in nature. Definitely thought I was going to get killed at first though.
Blocking the doorway, especially during an argument. X did that and would make himself bigger, spreading his arms, etc., so I couldn't leave the room.
Obviously can't speak for all women, but we generally don't have a fantasy of belonging to someone in a controlling sense. A lot of men can be pretty controlling without even knowing it.
I don't know why you're acting so cautious. If I wanted to kill you, I would have already done it. Said to me by a friend of a friend I was meeting because it was his first time in a foreign country.
I walk in today, a guy on motorcycle pulled up on me 3x. I mean dude, if I don't want to engage, then don't follow, continue to pull over to meet me or whatever. Adding, wanted to add that although my area feels very safe, I don't want to see any vehicle roll up on me, no shoulder, because on President's Day, a car rolled up on me, windows came down, airsoft guns came out, and they shot me with rock salt face with steam from nose.
Happened few times. I was working late in small market with no one around and when they come in and ask me if I'm not scared to be alone. Well, now I am, thanks.
Call me nicknames like sweetheart or baby girl when I've never met them before.
Years ago, I went out with this dude and during snacks and a drink, it was pretty clear we weren't a good match. I politely turned down another round and thanked him. I put my bag over my shoulder and began walking to the bar to pay. Not more than 2 steps from the table the dude ynks my purse strap and says, "What, no hug?" Really taken aback, I hugged him and shuffled quickly to pay and get out of there. As I was paying, I explained to the waitress whom I knew from another job that the dude was super creepy and asked if I could sneak down the back stairs. She let me go through and I rushed down the back stairs and then outside to my car. Breathing a deep sigh, I got out of the parking lot and at the first red light at the corner where the restaurant was the creepy dude crossing the street. Without any hint of emotion, he whipped out a pen and wrote my license plate down on his hand. Never saw him again, that I know of.
First date, didn't really know him. Comes to my apartment to pick me up, invite him in and he proceeds to tell me how he is going to rearrange the furniture when he moves in. Back in the 70s I always picked up hitchhikers, picked up this guy, he gets in then looks at me and says, "You know you should really be careful about who you pick up." Guy I was living with, "I know you will never leave me because you can't outrun a bullet."
Joking about rape. Just makes me think you have rape on the brain. I met a couple dudes at a bar who invited me and my friend to a party they were headed to. We were trying to find a polite way to turn them down when one said, "Don't worry, we're not going to rape you." Ha, ha. We turned him down flat, and not kindly. Thankfully we were next to the bouncer, and his friend said, "Dude, what the fuck is wrong with you?" My question too.
Not going away when I have made it abundantly clear that I am not interested.
Getting my number from someone else and reaching out to start an unsolicited conversation.
Not accepting no or anything you explicitly outline to them.
This one may be intentional, but it gives me the absolute creeps when men try to squeeze past me and lightly put their hands on me, especially my waist. I hate it. Just say, "Excuse me." Edit. Quite a few people have asked clarifying questions, so I'll give my thoughts on when it's okay to touch a woman in a crowded area. 1. Try to just go around her another way. 2. If you can't, say "Excuse me." 3. If it's loud or something and that doesn't work, sometimes touching just can't be helped. Either just squeeze past if it's a packed area, or if you have to lay your hands on her, a firm, but not rough, hand on the shoulder or upper back is likely fine. Lightly tickling the lower back or small of the waist is creepy. Usually, if you touch a strange man that way, you might be up for an ass beating. If you wouldn't willingly touch some big, strange guy that way, mostly looking at you, straight guys, don't do it to a woman.
Any man who feels compelled to grab a woman by the waist to move them out of the way.
Physical intimidation. standing too close to me or backing me into a corner and making me feel trapped. It puts me on the defensive so fast. Edit for clarification, I know some men do this intentionally, but many do it unintentionally. Often men don't realize just how uncomfortable or intimidated they can make women feel with their behavior and body language.
Someone saying "where's my hug," or otherwise trying to imply that they are owed physical contact.